Hey there, everybody. Welcome to On the Sidelines. For the first time in our long 2-month history, we are on the road coming to you from Barrett's Alehouse on Route 18 here in Bridgewater. We'll talk about the great partnership that Barrett's has had with the 4th of July Committee here in Bridgewater coming up throughout the next hour here. But first, let's talk about the big sports story, and that, of course, is the first couple of games for the Boston Celtics through the NBA Finals. They take Game 2, 105-98. Jrue Holiday, 26 points. Jaylen Brown, 21 points. Luka Doncic with a game-high 32 points to go along with 11 rebounds and 11 assists. Right now, the Boston Celtics continue to look like the wagon that everyone thought back in October and November they were going to be.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And it's awesome to see right now. 2-0 is great. We defended Causeway, like I said. And I got to correct myself. On the last show, I said Kyrie lost 12 in a row versus Celtics. He's officially lost 12 in a row now versus Celtics, which is great. And, last night, it was a great game. It was back and forth a lot of the time. And then you came the third. They did a run on us. Got close near the end. And then Peyton Pritchard, in his one shot of the game that went in, made that awesome shot from, what would you say, downtown crossing? Where are you going to put that shot? Because that's pretty far back, that one.
That's almost Sullivan Square area back there. Peyton Pritchard, as you heard Brad say, only 3 points with that monster three, because that was kind of during that turning point in the at the end of the third quarter where the Celtics really started to take over, started to clamp down on defense.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked about this before, and I know I bragged about it as far as how dominant this team is on defense, and they're just proving me right again. And that's hard to do, especially me.
Right.
But I love what we're seeing on defense. I love what that shot by Pritchard, he's one of my favorite Celtics besides White. I like the underdog, the kids that come through all the time. Best signing, and again, I love what we saw on defense.
So Luka Doncic, 12 of 21, 4 of 9 from the three-point line. I mentioned the 11 rebounds, 11 assists. But this continues to be an issue for the Dallas Mavericks, and the fact that Luka Doncic continues to do his job. The issue is, what is anybody else going to do? Kyrie Irving, 16 points. His running mate, Kyrie Irving, only had 16 points. P.J. Washington had 17. Gafford had 13. Derek Jones had 11. To me, this was almost the Dallas Mavericks' best shot in this game, too.
It really was.
Offensively, defensively. Nothing was falling for the Boston Celtics in terms of three-point shooting in the first quarter. It took until Al Horford hit a three-pointer with about 3 seconds left for the Celtics to get their first three. If this is the Boston Celtics playing at 60, 65%, then I think by the time we get to next Monday, when we're at Campanelli Stadium, we could be talking about a clincher for the NBA Finals later on that night.
We could already be talking about winning it, right? Isn't Game 4 on Sunday?
Game 3 Wednesday night, Game 4 Friday night, and then Game 5 in Boston would be coming up on Monday night.
I'm mixing up the cup and that, so that makes sense. But even so, we still could be talking about. Kyrie saying we'll be back for 5. There's a big possibility you won't. How we're playing, like you just brought up, we shot 25% from the 3, and we still beat you guys.
Right. Played very bad. If you think about it overall compared to Game 1. They played very bad. Now, that takes the pressure off Brown and Tatum, knowing that you have those other guys have your back, and you can still win a game like that.
Jrue Holiday last night, man. Whew. He had a KP Game 1, how he played for crying out loud. It was awesome. It really was.
This continues to be an example of the Boston Celtics just continuing to find ways to win, and us continuing to say, well, 2, 3, 4 years ago, the Boston Celtics aren't winning this game. 2, 3, 4 years ago, the Boston Celtics aren't winning this game. The fact that you have Jrue Holiday with those 26 points, but it was how he found his spots on the floor. In the dunker spot, right under the basket, the Dallas Mavericks made it a point to focus on Jason Tatum, which we'll get to that in a little bit. But Holiday was kind of that break glass in case of emergency player in this postseason. This was his game. Kind of like throughout the rest of this postseason, everyone has had their game in the starting lineup. You think about Jaylen Brown, Game 1 of the conference finals with that ridiculous 3 over Pascal Siakam. Al Horford, one of the games in Indiana. Obviously, Jrue Holiday, another game in Indiana. But everyone continues to find their spot. And, again, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but credit the coaching of Joe Mazzulla for getting the Celtics to this point, calling the timeouts when he did. That Kristaps Porzingis situation, which we'll get to in a second, that kind of leaves a lot to be desired. But Joe Mazzulla is the better coach here. We kind of did this whole pick the advantage thing. We all said Jason Kidd was the better head coach.
Yep.
What is he doing challenging a play 5 minutes into the game? Because, ding dong, the last 30 seconds of the game, P.J. Washington on a breakaway was going to have fast break points. What happened? Jaylen Brown pushing the small part of P.J. Washington's back with that monstrous block that Derek White had. But that was going to be an offensive or a foul on the Celtics, 2 free shots for Washington. And you're talking about, 105, 100, somewhere around there? Jason Kidd just is looking like a fool in this series. Right. And we'll talk about Media Day, too. Media Day, the availability on Saturday. But Jason Kidd's just a melting disaster here in Boston.
Oh, in this series so far he has, and I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, you can even argue Derek White might even foul at him with his hand at the top. And for them to have no challenges at that point, that might have lost them the game. If they get those 2, it's, 5-point different at that point?
It was almost like out of desperation. That. If you think about it, he's like, oh, this looks good, let's challenge it. If I win, this could possibly build my team's morale because we're terrible.
They looked at it for probably 3 seconds, too, and said they were going to review it.
They had to.
They
so
didn't
quick.
look at the – I know that, but they did. I don't even think they looked at all the angles because one of the angles clearly showed how it wasn't a foul,
And then a 7-point game with 27 seconds left. I understand I'm not a fan of the whole fouling situation, but with 20 seconds left, at least foul. See what happens. I mean, you have a Reggie Miller situation with someone like Luka Doncic, but you threw in the towel.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you're P.J. Washington, Derek Jones, Daniel Gafford, you go down the list, Derek Lively, your coach quit on you. I'm going to be interested to see what we see coming up in Game 3 and 4 in Dallas. Jason Kidd with those media availability comments, basically saying that Jaylen Brown was the best player on the Boston Celtics, rehashing that classic conversation that Boston sports radio has had for years now, JT or JB, but the Celtics continue to show that maturity that we haven't seen in years past. And we saw last night, it didn't bother them.
No, not at all. I mean, like you just said, how many times in the past have we seen the Celtics shaking their boots and we're like, oh, my God, please grow up, right? And now we're seeing that mature team. And like we talked about earlier in the show, you don't need Tatum. You need him, but Brown, if they have off days, you have guys picking up the slack. And if I'm the Dallas Mavericks management right now, I'm like, oh, my God, this is over. This is over. It's just a matter of what day.
One of my favorite terms is next man up mentality, and the Celtics have it. They have it 7 people deep, for crying out loud.
Yep.
Like you just said, your 2 best people won't show up some games.
Right.
I mean, Tatum didn't even hit 20, but look at what Jrue Holiday did. He had 26. That pays off. I know he had all the rebounds too and assists. It was a great game last night for the boys. It was.
So someone, i.e. me, who took Jason Tatum with the under 16 points in Game 1, 18 in Game 2. But Jason Tatum, if it weren't for the rebounds and the assists, this would be a big problem. Game 1 from the field, he was 6 of 16. Game 2, 6 of 22. It almost looked like he had the playoff yips.
Oh, yeah.
And he was afraid to do anything. For him to do anything, he had to get to the free throw line, and that's where he did his damage, 5 of 6 from the charity stripe.
You want to know what's going to be nice? When he puts up 46 points in Game 3 and brings that average up above the over, all right?
Remember, their backs are against the wall. I think you're going to see him come out shooting crazy in Game 3 and Game 4. They have to try to get some rhythm. Every time they try to get a rhythm, the Celtics defense sits them down. They tried a different approach in Game 2. That didn't work. And now, if you think about, if I'm any part of management with the Dallas Mavericks, you're just thinking, when is this going to end? Because it's going to end, and you ain't winning anything.
Obviously, Game 3 is a must-win for Dallas, but the question for me is, who's going to come out and who's going to step up? Because now Kyrie Irving doesn't have to deal with the ghosts of playoff past and stepping unlucky and all that garbage that we continue to talk about now for going on 5 years. But now, is Kyrie Irving going to finally show up? I almost feel like Dallas is at a point now where the Celtics were in the bubble. We're going to start seeing reports of locker room post-game situations where you're hearing chairs being thrown around, water bottles being thrown around. I mean, I haven't seen a disappointing performance like this from a finals team like the Dallas Mavericks.
I mean, Irving definitely needs to step up. What's the game one stats? Let me see. Did he even hit
so
20 in that
game one,
game?
Kyrie Irving had 12 points and was 6 of 19 from the field, 0 of 5 from distance. Game two, he was 16 points, 7 of 18 from the field, 0 for 3 from the three-point line. So he continues to be a focal point for the Dallas Mavericks in what is not working.
100%. He needs to step up if that team wants to even think about coming back.
They're in a lot of trouble. They're in a lot of trouble, and they're going to take a lot of crazy shots in Game 3. They have no rhythm. They haven't showed rhythm since they won the Western Conference Final. And it's just going to be. I'm just going to sit back and drink my beverage and enjoy the rest of this ride. Because I'll tell you right now, the Dallas Mavericks, they just don't need Luka and Irving. They need a whole lot of guys off that bench to come through, and they ain't doing it.
Lively needs to stay out of foul trouble.
Yep.
Well, how about this for the defense for the Celtics, allowing 23 points in the second, 23 points in the third, 24 points in the fourth quarter. Defense has been the calling card for this Boston Celtics team in this postseason, and it was impressive last night. Another game where the opposition doesn't score over 100 points. Another concerning thing at last night's game was a potential leg injury to Kristaps Porzingis. Now, after the game, he was asked about his leg, and it sounds like he's going to play in Game 3. It sounds like this was more of a scare than anything else, but it was getting dicey there because after the leg injury, just like in Miami, they continue to play. He continues to limp around on the court. I'm sitting there screaming at my TV saying, Joe Mazzulla, you have 3 timeouts. Call one of those timeouts, please.
Right, exactly.
Adrenaline can only do so much.
Right. You get so much depth on that bench. If you don't have the big guy, you can run the fast break. You can run the fast, the quick offense or whatever you want to call it. Usually, because they can't play zone against you. They can't play man against you. They cannot beat you, plain and simple. We've said this time and time again and it's like you said, I'll be the first one to say I was wrong about the coach. He is doing a good job. Jason Kidd's looking like he's a first grader who's getting beat up in the playground right now. Use that kind of little metaphor there. It's terrible. I just want to see this end. I mean, Dallas is terrible. They're absolutely. I don't know how they even won the Western Conference. They're absolutely terrible.
I will say this, Jason Kidd, he kind of gives off the vibes of that wannabe cool dad. The backwards hat, the sweatshirt ready to go, kind of talking to everyone like, hey, come on, guys, let's have fun out there. We have, some things didn't go our way. That's basketball.
Yep.
I mean, Joe Mazzulla calling the right timeouts, making the right substitutions, knowing how to call the defenses, and having someone like a Holiday out there to kind of play a free safety, really important on the final stage. So Game 3 on Wednesday, Game 4 on Friday, and Game 5, if necessary, it will be, I think.
I'm glad you said that.
Is on Monday. When are the Celtics, if they are, going to win their 18th banner?
I hope. I don't want to sweep. I want the fans to see the championship at home because, I'm a Bruins fan. How many times have the poor Bostonian fans watched a team lose a championship or that round in front of the fans? The Celtics, they lost a few times in the finals in front, but I feel like they were more away than at home. And the fans do deserve to see the celebration instead of the away fans seeing the celebration, say, Game 4, if we were to sweep. I'd rather see in 5. And how we're playing 5 should be where it goes.
I have to disagree. And it's not because it's what you see on the court. The Dallas Mavericks can't play with the Boston Celtics. If we might see one of these games maybe going to overtime, like desperation for Dallas. Otherwise, I see the Celtics sweeping and bringing home the trophy.
Yeah.
I know we have Jeff behind there who's making fun of me because I'm so nervous about the Boston Celtics. I think there's still some doubt in my mind. This is just a scarred Celtics fans from all those years in the past that they should have been to the finals and they collapsed. I think they'll win the championship, but I think it's going to be in 6 games. Because Game 3 or 4 in Dallas, you're going to have someone ridiculous step up, be it a P.J. Washington going off for 20 or 25 points, a Derek Lively being a force in the paint. You have the Foster factor coming into play here. And I think the NBA needs to have an elongated series because viewership has been down for the finals so far.
Yeah, true. I don't care about the viewership or what the NBA wants. I just want to see this end. I'm sick of seeing terrible basketball. I can't believe they won the Western Conference. It's a tragedy to the NBA basketball. And I've been waiting something like this since 1974, showing my age a little bit. Back in the day when I used to see them win world titles. But I can't, again, I don't see no rhythm out of this Dallas Mavericks team. And no matter who they come off the bench, every time they had a chance to do something in the garden, don't give me, they booed you, they cheered, they booed you, and you got nervous, you couldn't get shot. Basketball is basketball, just like hockey is hockey.
Coming up next, we'll talk to Mike Barrett, owner of Barrett's Alehouse, about the special partnership for the 4th of July. Don't go anywhere, you're watching a special road show edition of On the Sidelines. Welcome back to the show. John Luck along with Dominic Damiano. We are pleased to be joined by Mike Barrett, owner of Barrett's Alehouse here in Bridgewater. Also, he has locations in West Bridgewater, Fall River, a location at Old Scotland Links, I believe, right?
Yes.
There was one more I'm forgetting.
We have two down in Fall River.
Fall River.
We have Barrett's Waterfront. That used to be Jerry Remy's.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then we have Barrett's Alehouse on North Main Street.
So Mike is a big part of the celebrations that you're going to see coming up on the 4th of July. I believe it's 20% of the checks that are here at Barrett's Alehouse on Monday nights goes to the 4th of July committee, right?
Correct. Talk
to me about just what went into that idea, because a lot of businesses would say, you know what, here's a check for, a few $100s, my best to the 4th of July committee, but continuing to do this because this is going on 3 months, right?
Absolutely.
And what was the thought process going into, let's have something every week that's going to continue to help a local charity, basically?
Well, since day one, we've been involved in all the sports activities in the town. We sponsor Little League teams, basketball teams. We give to whatever we can to help the community. And then we decided we wanted to get involved in some of the charities. And the 4th of July is always struggled and had a hard time getting the money for the fireworks, and we decided that we'd like to be part of that. So we had a meeting, and we all decided that we would give 20% of the food and beverage sales for every Monday until the 4th of July. So I think, including today, we have 3 more after tonight. That's 4. And then we talked him into starting a golf tournament at Old Scotland Links. Didn't sell out this time, but it's a bad week. We're going to change the week next year, and we expect to sell out every year moving forward. Our plan was to give, or we're headed towards a lot of money for the 4th of July, which it's not fair that 6 or 7 people have the responsibility of paying something for all the surrounding towns to enjoy. And we wanted to help them out.
And even a big part of local efforts. I was thinking about the Bridgewater Police 5K, which there was a check presentation. I remember we had a camera here. I think it was last year. But just continuing to show up for these local benefits here. It's not just one of these things where you're helping out a state project, which, that's great and all, but helping out something in the community itself that you've had such a big part in. Can you just talk about the pride that you have as a local business owner being able to help local groups and local efforts?
Our commitment from day one was to be part of the community and to be involved. And sometimes because of the atmosphere, what's going on in the world or what's going on with business, sometimes you get you don't get as involved as you like to. And we've made a concerted effort to put all our efforts into helping our communities in each location. So we work in Fall River, we do things in West Bridgewater. We're a strong supporter of the Bridgewater Police and Fire. All you have to do is ask. We put aside in each location Tuesday nights as a fundraiser night. And it's pretty good, you know.
So I'll see if I can hear myself. So you're obviously a local guy,
Yep.
right? Did you play any high school sports back in the day? I was curious.
Well, I went to Maine South High School in Park Ridge, Illinois.
Okay,
I was all conference in football.
nice.
I wrestled. I played basketball. I went to Cornell University. I played football. I played basketball. I wrestled. I was at a bar, and the wrestling coach came down to the bar and said, "I understand you wrestled in high school. Our heavyweight got hurt." So I said, "Sure, I'll help."
That's awesome.
So I lost my first 17 matches.
But you were just warming up.
Gotta get the results.
When football was over and I wasn't in shape, and I lost my first 17 matches, and then I started winning, and that was my last year of wrestling.
Right. That's like what J.D. Martinez used to say back when he was playing for us. He'd say, "It takes me 60 at-bats to get warmed up." I'm like, 60 at-bats? No wonder you're terrible.
Mike, this is a beautiful restaurant here. We talked before the break. You said it turned into Barrett's Alehouse in 2003. Just talk about the vibes that you have here, because you had the beach outing that we're right in front of here, a fireplace right behind me. This place gets hopping on a Friday or a Saturday night. So for people that are driving down Route 18 or maybe on 106 in West Bridgewater that have gone by Barrett's but not really sure what Barrett's is, what would you say to them to kind of get them in the door? Because this is a fantastic and beautiful place.
Thank you. Well, all I can say is it's worth the try. And once you come in, you'll enjoy it and you'll want to come back. I mean, we strive to do everything right. We don't always do everything right. We have problems like everybody else. But we believe in promoting ourselves. We believe in being part of the community. We run specials. Kids eat free on Wednesdays. We do a lot of functions. We have a function going on right now, a retirement party. It's a Monday and we're busy. So that's great.
Do you guys have anything else? I mean, that's a lot to do. And you obviously have a great supportive staff, the people that work for you that have the same dream you have as far as giving back to the community. Do you have any other endeavors you guys are diving into? Maybe come up with a Bartlett Thanksgiving Cup and get rid of the other company over there, the one that sells pizza, and maybe get you guys make a big trophy and call it the Barrett's Ale Thanksgiving Day Cup?
Hey, we're interested in anything.
Right.
If it makes sense.
Right.
Mike Barrett, owner of Barrett's Alehouse. You can come down and visit them, and especially on Monday nights here. Come down and visit them every night, obviously, but on Monday nights through the 4th of July, 20% of your bill will go to help out the Bridgewater fireworks coming up on the 4th of July, one of the biggest and best pyrotechnic displays here in the state of Massachusetts. So come on down, help out a local organization, and come down to a local restaurant. Mike Barrett, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Mike, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Yep. My pleasure.
We have more coming up after this. As we make the transition from the parade coverage to fireworks, the Legion Field Carnival kept families occupied with plenty of fun rides thanks to North American Amusement, including their newest ride, Joker's Wild. The evening activities attracted folks from different cities and towns taking part in a fun day here in Bridgewater. There was delicious food including Italian, barbecue, and somebody's new favorite waffle sundaes to help with a countdown to fireworks. As we go to break, we have some highlights from the day, but when we return, we have a couple of live performances, and of course, the nighttime sky gets lit up in a huge way on the 4th of July. Welcome back to the show. John Luck with Brad McKinnon. We're joined by Lisa Curley of the Bridgewater 4th of July Committee. And we've talked to a couple members of Barrett's Alehouse here. Lisa, the other big part in this partnership between Barrett's and the 4th of July Committee. And this is truly one of a kind here, the partnership that this place has had with your committee. 20% of each bill go into the 4th of July Committee.
Not only that, but don't forget the golf tournament the other day.
Right.
So they really have been exemplary in trying to assist us this year, and they're going to make a big difference. We really appreciate all of their support.
And if you buy a $100 gift card, $25 will go to the 4th of July committee. So another great opportunity for people to enjoy the great food here at Barrett's Alehouse and also help out a great cause. And we talk about this every year. I've talked about it with Jeff, for Jeff Fowler for 5 or 6 years now. People think that the 4th of July just happens. It doesn't. It's fundraising. It's volunteers. This is truly a year-round effort for you guys.
Most definitely. I'm not going to lie. We usually take off August and September to kind of recoup, but and then November and December is kind of slow. We're just kind of planning things. But in January, we kind of hit the ground running. It does take a long time. Our budget now is over $50,000. It has gone up almost double since I took over, so it's getting harder and harder to do it every year.
I mean, before last year, too, it wasn't only 5 of you guys, and now it's 7 on the committee?
Yes. We've had years where there was only 3 of us, Jeff, me, and maybe one other person. So it's been a challenge.
And that's why you're known as Miss 4th of July, all right?
You don't think it has anything to do with what I drive or anything else?
The Jeep might help a little bit, too, all right? But
you can go ahead.
I can tell you speaking as a counselor, we do appreciate all the work you guys do in town.
Thank you.
And I mean, like you just said, it's an 8-month thing. You take 2 months off, and then you're on the fence for 2 more, and then you're hitting the ground running.
And just talk about how you got involved with the committee, because I think if I remember the stories right, this goes back to when there weren't any fireworks, right? And that's when you really took, ownership of the committee here in terms of driving the town to get these fireworks and, starting the true fundraising effort, right?
So I wasn't on then. Jeff has been on it longer than I have. I think there was a group of people that were running it after. I believe at some point the town must have paid for it, I'm assuming. And that just the budget, it wasn't there. And then the small committee took over. I actually do not remember the year that I came in. I know the first year that I took over, we did not have the fireworks. We only had the parade because we had outstanding bills we hadn't paid. And we needed to satisfy those. Since then, we've managed to pull it off every single year except for COVID, and that wasn't a financial thing. That was we just couldn't do it thing. There's been years that have been more challenging than others, and I mean, honestly, you would think that every year it would get a little bit easier, but because the budget keeps going up, it makes it harder. So.
And you're wearing last year's T-shirt model, but the 2024 4th of July T-shirt is available for people that want to buy a T-shirt. They're watching. They want to help out the 4th of July fireworks continue to happen every year at Legion Field. What's the best way to get in contact with the committee to get a T-shirt and also to maybe donate as well?
So the easiest way, honestly, is Facebook. Bridgewater Residents is very instrumental in that. We also have our own Facebook page, Bridgewater MA 4th of July, I think it is. You think I'd know it by heart, but we have our website. You can donate through that too. Most people, I think, know who I am, so they're more than welcome to, contact me personally. Barrett's is doing the next couple Mondays until July 1st. We'll be here from 4 to 8, as they continue their 20% off, so they can always pop in. I have the shirts now. The only reason I'm not wearing tonight's is because I wore it at the golf tournament the other day and didn't do my laundry yet.
So again, if you buy a $100 gift card for Barrett's Alehouse, $25 goes to the 4th of July committee. There's also the 20% of your check going to the committee as well each and every Monday night
all day Monday. Yep.
Until the 4th of July. So if you want to get lunch, get that late lunch, get some dinner, come on down, get some great food, help out a great local effort. I was going to ask you guys about the Bruins-Panthers series, but unfortunately we're out of time. Lisa Curley, thanks for coming on and spending some time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We'll be
Lisa.
back with more after this.
Like dynamite, so tell all your friends that we'll be.
Welcome back. Time for On the Sidelines Overtime. John with Brad and Dom. And we're here at Barrett's Alehouse where we talked about the Celtics earlier. We'll talk about the Boston Red Sox right now. There was a article that came out, an interview with Financial Times Magazine, which I guess is based in the UK.
Yep.
But the article was written by Sarah Germano back on June 7th. This thing had some real gold here. So I'm going to read you the first part here. And this is from Sarah Germano's article with John Henry. Within 10 minutes of meeting John Henry for the first time, alarm bells started ringing. We'd exchanged pleasantries and were sitting alone in his suite at Fenway Park. home of the Boston Red Sox baseball team he owns, on a colorless November afternoon. Settled into our plush leather chairs overlooking home plate, we were enveloped by walls displaying a gallery of rich memories, talking about photos with David Ortiz, the Red Sox championships, Liverpool. The article goes on to say, that's when we were interrupted by a deafening crash directly above. The fire alarm began to pulse urgently, and an automated woman's voice spoke over the intercom. This is an emergency. Please locate the nearest exit and vacate the premises immediately. End quote. I had come to Fenway for an off-the-record meeting with Henry to learn about how he manages a crisis. Now I was watching him up close. He said, "Let's go this way," gathering his small leather backpack and leading me down the hall to a concrete stairwell. His movements, like his speech, are languid but deliberate. At 74, he has the manner of someone who's had command of the room for many decades. Dressed in a black hooded jumper, stonewashed jeans, and scuffed rubber trainers, Henry appeared so casual it was hard to believe I was being escorted to safety by the owner of the MLB stadium we were trying to escape. A little bit further in the article, this is the one that's had a lot of people's attention, talking about Fenway Sports Group being less about the sports fan and more about business. Henry went on to say, because fans expect championships almost annually, they easily become frustrated and are not going to buy into what the odds actually are. 1 in 20 in the case of Liverpool and 1 in 30 in the case of MLB. Be it the beginning of that article or that quote, John Henry is tone deaf.
John Henry. I asked before if we can say this word, all right, and it made it to the end of the show. John Henry's a jackass. He is.
Thank you.
How many star players have disappeared, and you could have paid them? You know, I see your number right here. You're gonna bring up. I'm not gonna steal your swag or whatever the kids say nowadays, but
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about those numbers because you did the homework there. But it's just ridiculous. You let Mookie Betts, all these other guys disappear. You used to have a great outfield that loved each other. They would dance and celebrate. And I know you couldn't keep all three of the guys, but you could have at least kept one, maybe two. And the Red Sox would be a completely different team.
So why don't you go ahead and give your thoughts, and I'll give mine after.
Thank you. You saw the steam coming out of my fat ears? Is that what
I smelled something cooking. It was either the pizza oven with sausage pizza or you. I didn't know.
It was close enough. So, perfect analogy right there. Walking jackass. How many times have you mentioned the slush fund this knucklehead does? He has David Ortiz, everyone thinking that this is now a rebuilding age. After a while, people ain't going to go. I'm waiting for Jordan's Furniture. Probably never happened. I want to take down my sign because I'm sick of the product you're putting on. Love the kids. They try really hard, but we're 32 and 31. We just split a series with the Chicago White Sox, for Christ's sake. We should have took 3 out of 4 in that series. And God bless them. The kids are trying, but he thinks we're all idiots, and we're just going to keep on buying into this BS.
So I'll say this. First of all, we'll get to the spending. 23 to 24 for the Yankees and Red Sox. Yankees spending in 2024 just over $306 million, 24 more than last year. For the Boston Red Sox for 2024, $177.7 million. That's a drop-off of about $5.1 million. First of all, Sarah Germano, the author of this article here, if you're trusting your life in the hands of Indiana Henry, navigating you down the concrete stairwell, that's more of a red flag than anything else. If you're at Fenway Park and you're hearing a crash over your head, take that as a sign. Get out. Okay, next. John Henry as a businessman, when he first bought the Boston Red Sox with the late Larry Lucchino, Tom Warner, he was about the fan. He was at all the games. He spent money. He tried to outbid the Yankees during the heyday with Steinbrenner and Cashman. But as he started to add different parts to his portfolio, his interest in the baseball operations went south. You think about his, his portfolio with Nesson, Sportsnet Pittsburgh, owns the Penguins, Liverpool, looking to own a basketball team with LeBron James after LeBron retires. Let's not forget, he almost destroyed European soccer with this Super League. I think it was 7 or 8 years ago. But it was to the point where people were going to go ahead and fine John Henry and take him out for taking their top soccer players and soccer teams out of UEFA, the Premier League. John Henry almost destroyed the sports world, but he doesn't care. John Henry just cares about the checks and balances. If you're stupid enough to buy an ice cream sundae hat with a stupid Boston B for $15 or $16, you deserve what you get. If you are crazy enough to spend $100 for 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, first of all, at Fenway Park, you can just go to Roach Brothers or Stop and Shop and buy hot dogs for $5 and get a better product. Why does anybody want to watch this team? As you heard Dom mention, the Boston Red Sox split a 4-game series with the Chicago White Sox fresh off of a 14-game losing streak, and now you're the get-right series? Now there's a series against the Phillies at Fenway Park. There's a series against the Yankees. There's a likelihood that the Boston Red Sox could have a 6-game homestand and lose 6 straight. But nobody cares if you're in John Henry's Fenway Sports Group, because all you care about is you're going to spend that dough to walk in, buy your stuffed Wally the Green Monster, buy a Fenway Frank, buy Sam Adams and all that. I mean, John Henry needs to sell this team. We're not at Oakland Athletics level yet, but Red Sox fans have to get smart enough to realize you are nothing to John Henry. You are just a part of his slush fund that he's going to use to go ahead and help out Sidney Crosby in Pittsburgh or go help out Liverpool.
He don't even help out Pittsburgh. He really
John
doesn't.
Henry has found a way to unite Boston, Pittsburgh, Europe, soccer fans, pretty much anyone to hate John Henry. So congratulations, John Henry just unified the world.
So one thing with me, I brought this up before on another one of our episodes. My first ever time, first of all, big money grab. Pittsburgh versus the Bruins at the Winter Classic at Fenway. My first time ever at Fenway was that game. It was to see a hockey game at Fenway. And you had all the Pittsburgh fans over here. You could tell because at one point you're going, let's go Bruins, and they go, let's go Pens. But at least 6 times during the game, the whole stadium was rather saying, Blake John Henry or sell the team.
He must
and
have
that's
a new
Penguins
yacht.
fans saying that too.
Right.
You know?
He must have bought a new yacht or something.
Right.
Or maybe he wants to buy another freaking NASCAR and buy some more wheels for his NASCAR. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry.
How many we have? All right. We'll take a quick break here on the Sidelines Overtime. When we come back, we'll continue to talk about the great partnership between Barrett's Alehouse and the 4th of July Committee. We have more coming up right after this.
Before we cut, I just want to say that pizza smells so good right now, man. I have to throw that in there real quick.
The Sprite's good, too, I will say that. We'll be back. Welcome back to the show. John Luck, Dominic Damiano. Happy to be joined by Jrue Bissonnette, manager of Barrett's Alehouse here in Bridgewater on Route 18. And we're here on a Monday night getting ready to support the 4th of July. 20% of people's checks on Monday night through the 4th of July will help out Bridgewater 4th of July. So as the manager here at Barrett's, can you talk about the turnout you've had from people, especially on Monday nights, helping out a local effort?
Yeah, we've definitely seen an increase in sales on Mondays from what we would typically do. And it seems to be very well received from the community as well and appreciated. And obviously we love the opportunity to be able to give back.
Now, obviously a big sports atmosphere here. You have this beautiful, beautiful beach here that you guys do a great job. What do you have any other, besides the thing which is great for the 4th of July, do you guys do you have anything else coming up to raise money for, something else in the community besides the 4th of July? I mean, I'm curious on your reach. I mean, the owner talked a little bit about it, but I was just curious from your chair, from what you do, because you do a lot of the legwork, you and your crew. I was just curious how that plays out for you.
Well, we have a running program that's a fundraiser Tuesday program. So any charitable organization that wants to book a fundraiser can book one with us, and they pick a Tuesday if the date's available. And then we provide them with tickets that they pass out, either digital or physical. And people come in and dine that night and turn in their ticket, and we cut a check for 20% of the food sales.
Can't make it any simpler than that.
So I remember 2013, one of my friends was in here for the Red Sox World Series. He had a phone on. The place went nuts. I'm seeing all the TVs in here. I mean, there's a great sound system as well, and especially here on the beach deck. Can you talk about what it's like on a sports night? Because there's a team playing in the NBA Finals right now, so I'd imagine the crowd's they can be fun on a game night.
Yeah, we have a really good sports crowd here, and obviously the playoffs bring it to another level. So we got 37 big screen TVs, so there's really not a bad seat in the house. During playoff games, we always have the volume on full blast. We try to create that, energy that everyone's feeling in the arena. So when game time comes, we dim the lights down, we crank the volume up, and just let everybody, have a good time.
Now, what's the capacity for a beautiful establishment like this? Because I know you got all these codes, you got to pay. But, I mean, this place must, like John was talking about earlier, this place must sell out. You guys must have elbow-to-elbow people at times in here.
Oh, yeah, and especially on the weekends this time of year. This specifically in June is one of our busiest months. So outdoor dining, we have live acoustic entertainment going on the weekends. So this area especially this time of year can be pretty lively with the fire going and music going and people dining.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
All the garage doors opened up in the bar and.
Thank goodness the fire's not going today.
That would have been
melting frosty.
There were questions whether or not it would look good behind you, and I said they're going to melt if you turn that thing on.
Well, the good thing is my shirt got me half price on my drinks, so I'm looking pretty good.
There's a lot of great ways for people to save money. I listed a few down here. I mean, there's half-price apps Monday through Thursday night cheese pizza specials. I mean, there's a lot of ways for people to come out, have a good time, but also not break the bank because these are difficult financial times for a lot of people, and they just want to come out to a local establishment, have great food, maybe save a couple bucks here and there.
Yeah, like you said, it is difficult financial times for people, so we try to offer discounts that span over different parts of the menu and different times of the week so everyone has an opportunity to take advantage. Like you mentioned, Monday through Thursday, from 3 to 5 at the bar, we offer half-price appetizers with the purchase of a beverage. Monday nights from 5 to 10, and Thursday nights from 5 to 11, we offer $2.99 cheese pizzas with the purchase of a beverage. We have a running pizza special where it's takeout. If you buy any 3 pizzas, you get a free cheese to go. We have $10 lunch specials that run every Monday through Friday from 11 to 2, which is really unheard of. You don't see a lot of places running specials or lunch at that cheap really at all. We have a lunch club that you can earn a stamp for every food purchase of $10 or more.
That's
and
so
then
cool.
on your 6th and 12th, you get a free up to a $10 value. So it obviously covers the lunch special.
That really is cool. So the producer just sent me this memo. I want to make sure I'm saying this right. So you guys do a newsletter for folks? Can you elaborate on that, please?
If you go on our website, there's a spot to sign up for the newsletter.
Okay.
And what's included in that newsletter is, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about right now, the different specials that we offer, seasonal menu rollouts, beverage specials, events happening at the restaurant.
That's really cool. This is another way besides just coming in word of mouth just to figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely.
really cool.
It allows us to be able to get, information that we want to reach people that frequent us.
That's so cool.
There.
So a great atmosphere coming down here to Barrett's Alehouse. Once again, come down here anytime you want. Monday nights through the 4th of July, 20% of your check will go to the 4th of July committee and help out fund the great fireworks display that takes place over at Legion Field at 9:30. And Jrue Brissette is the guy that runs everything here with a great staff and a great crew here. So thanks for coming down and spending some time with us.
Thanks for having us, guys, and nice having
Thank
you
you.
here. Nice meeting you both.
Nice seeing you both. Absolutely. You too, sir.
We have more coming up right after this. Wrapping things up here at Barrett's Alehouse, John Luck, Brad McKinnon, Dominic Damiano. We do want to thank the great staff here at Barrett's Alehouse for opening up their restaurant and opening up the beach pit area here in front of the fireplace. And from me especially, thank you for not starting that.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say that if you did it.
Show.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Again, the food smells great, and 20% of your bill each and every Monday night through the 4th of July will go to the 4th of July committee. And if you buy a $100 Barrett's gift card, $25 will go to the 4th of July committee. So great local partnership there. And our roadshow schedule is not done. We're going to take a trip down 24. We're going to the Campanelli Stadium next week.
Yeah, my hometown. It's going to be a lot of fun. Right now they're on a little bit of a winning streak. Won their last series. They're 10-16, but they're competing. You can check all the stats and I'll beat John to it. Knockoutsbaseball.com. And they are a very entertaining team to watch. I'm looking forward to doing the show there.
Gonna be fun. Can't wait. And we'll talk to you then from Brockton. For Brad McKinnon, Dominic Damiano, I'm John Luck. We'll talk to you next week.